Every living creature dies alone. Every living creature dies alone. I think that was the quote from Johnny Darko, verbatim. Maybe it's a little off. I wanted to talk today about connection and loneliness. Um, and I think that my fear and anxieties about loneliness have to do with mortality, which most of my anxiety stems from. So I was just thinking about it because just loneliness, like sadness for me, is an incredibly horrible feeling that I don't know how to sit in very well. I get desperate. And with both of those things, it's also really hard for me to remedy them by myself. I find sadness and loneliness really closely mixed in a way that I didn't really notice until recently upon thinking of these things. Um, there's a certain amount of sadness that, again, like nobody can alleviate, right? There's time and space, and that's kind of it. And it's like, hey, guess I just need to wait it out. There's some things you can do to make things worse, and there's some things you may be able to. I feel like the only thing you can do to make things better is just not make things worse. When it comes to a certain amount of grief or trying to heal or move on, or just a certain amount of sadness that you have to feel because there's nothing else you can do but feel it. That you can't get away from it, and if you try to get away from it, you might prolong the process and make it worse. So I feel like loneliness is on that same spectrum for me, which again is a new realization that you can alleviate loneliness to a degree, but I mean you have to have willing participants, right? And I feel like I can stave off sadness when I'm in the company of others. I am so rarely in the company of others though, and it's been rare since I've been in Lethbridge. Like others being, other than a partner that I may have, having friends in this city, I just have not, I just don't. For the most part, I just don't. So that's been difficult when it comes to more extreme cases of loneliness and sadness and how they link. And when I feel sad, I definitely do feel desperate. I feel like I do not want to feel this way. Get this away from me. This is not good. Like, get it out of here. And and loneliness, I feel the same way about. Not all the time. There's various stages and extremes and levels to it. But I generally can. I have potential to feel as desperate when feeling lonely and wanting to alleviate that. Now, this other key word that I'm going to bring in here is connection. Really early on, I believe it was the second conversation I ever had on this platform. The first one was about legacy, and the second one was about connection, if I remember that correctly. And I talk a lot in there about connection and why I feel like I strive for connection and whatever else. I don't know if I really got to this realization that I'm making now, and maybe this is just a reaffirmation, but that connection to me is a way to alleviate anxiety. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's through me just like being addicted to social media, wanting to just have interaction really bad with people. Genuine interaction that's part of the problem, is that I don't want just surface level stuff without substance when it comes to connection and interaction. Whether it be, small talk on the street doesn't help me, or if it's on Instagram and someone's like, that's cool. I'm like, okay, cool. But if we actually in depth started talking about art and likes and dislikes and why and whatever, like, then that would be different, I would feel like I'm connecting with someone, I'm learning about someone, they're learning about me, I'm sharing, and yeah, that's part of the reason that I do this. Is like it's this weird one-way connection. I mean, another huge reason is that I need to figure some things out for myself, and this is external processing and helping me figure some things out by talking aloud. There's a lot of reasons, but I mean, yeah, one of the reasons is that I feel like there is a sort of connection with the viewer, even if I don't know who the viewer is and they're not interacting. I still feel like there's an opportunity for them to be influenced by my presence somehow, and that in some way is a type of connection. So, yeah, again, I feel like my connection, my need, um, my priority for connection, the importance that I place on it, has to do with drawing it back to, it has to do with trying to alleviate anxiety from feelings of loneliness, which result in thinking about mortality. That's why I started this off with every living creature dies alone, or every living thing dies alone, whatever Roberta Sparrow whispered into Donnie Darko's ear that day. And that's a scary feeling. I don't like it. It's not just like a fact that I want to live with and just accept and figure out. I haven't yet. And yeah, I guess I really figured some things out really quick in this conversation because there's some things I just didn't have words for or understand fully until right now. And I feel like I've already resolved some things, drawing back that, that those stages or steps, or that just drawing back that origin of why do I feel this way, why do I want this thing. It's because I feel this way, which leads me to feel this way, which leads me to feel that way. That's not a connection I've ever really made before, not that I can remember anyway. So either way, it's good for me to have that on my radar once again and to acknowledge it and understand it a little better. Yeah, like I said, connection isn't a thing that you can necessarily just have on your own, right? That usually takes another willing participant. So there are times where I just, I feel like when I'm feeling really sad and or lonely, that I just like, it's almost like my phone is glued to my hand. I try to do something else, distract myself with doing something productive, like maybe reading or doing art or whatever. But if I feel like I can't, that the feeling is too consuming, I have to like interact usually in a way to alleviate that. But then again, if I'm trying to distract myself from it, then I'm maybe prolonging what I need to feel. And that's something that I've definitely been talking about a lot recently. So anyway, I think that's it. I think I just wrapped it up. I think I just like understood the lineage of this pattern and these behaviors and what they go back to. So, in theory, if I wanted to help myself out, I would try and deal with the source of this and accept that death is a thing that's going to happen. But I'm not there yet. We'll see you at another time.